Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wonderkamer. My name is Jen Rempel, and I'm here with my co-hosts,
Dave Powell.
And Tracy Anderson Powell.
And we are here to bring you a variety of tales of wonder. So you might want to know, what is a Wonderkamer? Why are we called this? Well, a Wonderkamer, the name is basically the Dutch variation of the German word Wunderkammer, which translates basically to wonder room. These rooms are sometimes known as Kunstkammer or a Kunstkabinet, which I pronounce very carefully, art room, art cabinet. So in English, thankfully, we generally use the term cabinet of curiosities. So these cabinets, these are sometimes literal cabinets, but more often they are an entire room, hence kammer. Became popular among scientists and sort of wealthy collectors during the Renaissance in Europe. Wonderkamers were collections of oddities, usually specimens from nature, such as corals, shells, skeletons, minerals, stuffed animals, things like this. They also included man-made objects from all over the world, such as coins, miniatures, globes, and the like. So I don't want to get into spoiler territory here, as next week will feature more details on the history of the Wonderkammer, or the Cabinet of Curiosities, and I'll include more examples of those next time. So this podcast is like a cabinet of curiosities. Each episode will feature a unique story about something that fascinates us. So that could be a piece of history, maybe an individual person, a book, an object, a social phenomenon, whatever we find fascinating at the moment. So remember, we are not experts. We're basically dilettantes.
What's a dilettante, Jen?
Well, a dilettante is the kind of person who has a lot of interests, a lot of various fascinations, but are not an expert in any one thing. A dilettante likes to do their research on their own time, I would say. We lack some expertise, but we make up for it with enthusiasm, and we are careful with our sources too. So this podcast is a chance for us to share these interests with you, our audience. So each week, either Tracy, Dave, or myself will take the lead in sharing something special. Today, Tracy's bringing us our first ever story for our inaugural episode. So what do you got for us today, Tracy?
Well, Jen, today I have the Mad Trapper of Rat River, who... The story of the Mad Trapper was the story of Canada's largest RCMP manhunt.
Really? Of all time?
Of all time, at that time. It might still be. I'm not entirely sure.
Do tell us more.
I haven't heard of anything bigger than that yet.
It is funny. Those two phrases, Mad Trapper and Rat River, it's like, oh, Canada. It's a bit classy.
I love it.
So our story starts on July 7th, 1931. Indigenous brothers William and Edward Snowshoes of Fort McPherson in the Northwest Territories were paddling up the Peel River when they came upon a white man sitting in his camp. They figured it must be Paul Neiman's brother-in-law,
He's white.
Albert Johnson.
Sorry.
They figured it must be Paul Neiman's brother-in-law, Albert Johnson. Neiman had mentioned his brother-in-law was going to be going down the lower Mackenzie River to his trapline, so the two men asked the stranger if he was Albert Johnson, and the man said yes. So the Snowshoe brothers kept going. They tended their fishing nets and returned to Fort McPherson and reported seeing Albert Johnson, only to find out later from Paul Neiman that this wasn't his brother-in-law.
Dun, dun, dun. By the way, if I ever have a band, we're going to be the Snowshoe Brothers.
Nice.
That's
Even if it's just me
name.
and another woman or whatever, we're the Snowshoe Brothers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like it.
So to clarify, it's not clear if this man is an imposter. He could just by coincidence have the same name. It's just that he's nebulously Albert Johnson.
Yes, his name might very well be Albert Johnson, but he's not Paul Neiman's brother-in-law.
Got it. So Who is this guy?
Which Johnson is it?
2 days later, the man that identified himself as Albert Johnson walked into Fort McPherson to purchase some supplies, a 16-gauge single-barrel shotgun and 25 shells. The owner of the shop said that Johnson was the perfect customer. He knew what he wanted, he bought without hesitation, and he appeared to have lots of cash on him.
That sounds like a real psycho. It's like the guy from, it's like Anton Chigurh, focused on a mission.
Yes.
Buying his shells.
Yes.
He described Johnson as being 5 feet 9 inches tall with light brown hair and cold blue eyes. The man was, quote, very taciturn and carried with him about $3,400 in a tobacco can.
To be fair, everybody's eyes were cold up there. It is the Northwest Territories.
Just frozen over.
Yeah.
Although it's July, so it's probably not frozen over and probably infested with black flies.
Oh, I was about to say,
Ugh,
there's lovely flowers everywhere and the worst black flies you've ever encountered.
right on those
Yeah.
sweet eye juices. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Mmm, delicious. So does anybody want to take a stab at how much $3,400 in 1934 is worth today?
I'm gonna say $12,000. No, $20,000.
50.
$68,000 in today money.
Ooh, damn.
So imagine walking around with that much in a can with your possessions.
A little bit
That's
risky.
Yeah, I mean, we live in a pretty small town, and everyone's got their money can, but their money can's not got that much.
Yeah, usually they're burying it in the
I
backyard.
was gonna say,
Huh, you
yeah,
bury it in the
more
backyard beside your questionably legal rifle, because as we know, an assault weapon is not actually a description of a gun. I'm kidding. Go on.
He's got a shotgun and shells and a bunch of money in a can. He's a
Yeah,
typical small town, you know.
his shotgun, his can money seems like a good guy, with his
Yeah,
sandy
nothing
brown
could
hair
possibly go wrong.
and his fly-bitten blue eyes.
Cold,
Yeah.
fly-bitten eyes.
Gross.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson's camp was upstream from Abe Francis's fishing camp, so he was well aware that there were witnesses to his presence. So Johnson set up 3 sticks, walked a rather impressive distance, turned around, and shot the tops off the sticks. Word of his skills spread like wildfire and became part of the legend of Albert Johnson.
And if you know Alberta, wildfires spread fast, so everyone knows.
Absolutely. So he, just casually sets up some sticks. Bang, bang, bang. Clips these sticks with a shotgun, which is not an accurate gun. And yeah, okay.
Let that be
So
a lesson to
maybe-
you, sticks.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to, keep people from coming too close because he's got $68,000 in a tobacco can.
Mm-hmm.
This is Albert, quote, the nebulous Albert, don't fuck with me, Johnson.
Yes, yeah. So if he wanted to ensure that he was isolated, this was certainly a way to do it.
Yes.
Francis had talked to Johnson a few times. He noticed the man was nervous and tried to hide his face. Andrew Cunezi told the story of a storm rolling through Fort McPherson. He and some others went to Johnson's camp to ask if he wanted to come to the post to get out of the storm. Johnson replied with a simple no and shut the tent flap.
Okay.
So he's not much on talk.
He's a friendly guy.
Him and his
Super
sweet
friendly.
can.
Leave me with my flies in my can.
That's right. Sweet can. Sorry.
William Firth, who was manning the Hudson Bay post, said Albert bought $700, that's $14,000 today, in supplies and called him a good customer. Firth learned the name's
I
man
would.
was...
Yeah. It's probably
First
a captive
learned-
market, though. There probably isn't a lot of options up there. For
He
No,
bought
probably
everything.
not.
He's my
Like
favorite
going to the
customer.
Walmart.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah, imagine just dropping $14,000 in a Walmart.
God.
I'm sure you could buy out half the store with that.
That's a lot of different flavors of Oreo.
Yes.
All the colors of all the fabulous Lady Gaga Oreos you could dream of.
80,000 pounds of fast fashion microplastics just ready to
Ugh.
inject into your veins. Ah, beautiful.
That's right. Ugh.
Firth learned the man's name was Albert Johnson and that he planned to establish a trap line along Rat River or follow a portage route over the Richardson Mountains west to the Yukon.
Right.
So the Rat River, we're in the Northwest Territories, yes? Just to
Yes,
refresh
we're
my
close
memory.
to the border of the Northwest Territories and the Yukon. And it's,
Okay.
I would say, about halfway between the southern border and the ocean.
Okay. It's at
Wow.
a midway
So-
point in the middle of a lot of tundra.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say, if you aren't familiar with Northwest Territories, look at a map. It's gigantic. So,
Yeah, it was even bigger at that time because they hadn't
Mhm.
carved it in half to put in a third territory.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Bishop W.A. Geddes of the Anglican Church at the fort reported Johnson to Inspector Alex Eames, commander of the Western Arctic Subdistrict of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, or the Mounties as we've come to know and love them.
Yeah. Love.
Yeah, mixed feelings. They certainly have a good reputation with those red coats.
They do.
The U.S. put shiny red coats on all of their police. The George Floyd riots probably wouldn't have happened.
That's right.
Yeah.
They
This
call
is
them the
friendly
Red
Mounties.
Coat Riots.
There you go.
Eames requested Constable Edgar Millen of the Arctic Red River Detachment to interview Albert on his next trip to Fort McPherson. That next trip came on July 21st. Constable Millen met Johnson at the fort and asked where he came from. Now, Millen didn't do this out of idle curiosity. The Depression was in full swing, and many men headed north to try their hand at trapping. At that time, a sable skin was worth almost $100, or $2,000 today. A good
Damn.
cross fox fur, which is a partially melanistic variant of the red fox, went for about $500, and an Arctic fox fur fetched a high price as well. Many were
So,
not
yeah.
Now
prepared for...
these just to know, like when they're trapping these animals for their fur, they're selling them off to like a Hudson Bay company or other traders that will eventually put them in the line of becoming fashionable objects.
Absolutely.
Perhaps. Interesting. All right.
Many who that came were not prepared for such a strenuous occupation in such an inhospitable winter climate. When these trappers got into trouble, the RCMP had to get them out, so the Mounties tried to make sure newcomers were well equipped and knew what they were doing.
Now that's just skiers who get out over their skis in the glaciers.
Yeah.
Snowboarders out there on the going off the trail.
Yeah, it's the backcountry.
That's right.
Johnson told Millen that he spent the previous year on the prairies and came to the Arctic by the Mackenzie River system. Millen was aware that Johnson came down the Peel River and doubted the story, but he didn't press the matter. Many men in the North Country wouldn't elaborate on their itinerary, particularly prospectors and trappers.
The itinerary of a prospector just sounds like the most, I don't know, grizzled, taciturn, brief thing in the world. Wake,
It's like,
lunch, prospect, eat, whore.
I was
Bad.
gonna say, strike it rich, spend it all on booze, whores,
Yeah.
back to
Booze
work.
and broad.
Yeah, booze and
Yeah, that's
broads.
That's right.
Beer.
No, all respect to sex workers. I'm just using
Yes.
the language at the time.
Oh no,
Yes.
I to be very clear, all
Yes.
respect to sex workers, no respect to prospectors.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sorry, prospectors.
Screw you, buddy. What are you gonna do? Huh? Come at
What
me.
do you do? Pan me? I don't know what that means, but hey.
I imagine it involves a clang.
I'm gonna get sifted so hard.
Oh no. Not anything but that.
Millen concluded the interview with Johnson by advising him to pick up a trapper's license from the police and save himself a trip to the Arctic Red River Post later on.
Asking them so glad to get a license for anything. Asking for trouble. From the government.
Yeah, this
I get
guy
a sense
doesn't.
this guy doesn't love the government too much.
He doesn't
so
seem like a licensing type.
No.
At the confluence of the Rat and Longstick rivers, a tent city was built on the shores among the flotsam and wrecked boats. There was a sign calling it Destruction City.
Yes.
Amazing.
Oh,
Again,
what a
Destruction
name.
City on the Rat River. I'm just picturing, all manner of pirates and beavers and trappers and
Beaver pirates.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
the
right.
beaver pirates just coming right
Oh
for
God.
it.
Another bad name.
I think that's actually a local term for the sex workers.
Oh no!
Aw.
Yeah. Oh, to be a sex worker in Destruction City. Oh, God.
Oh my God, what a name.
It's a tough living.
Yeah. Well, watch out for those flying pans,
Oh, it's just beards and beavers everywhere. God.
Flotsam and jetsam. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good jetsam.
Honestly, that double act never aged very well. Their jokes were shockingly racist and about strange different people groups. Like,
Really? Yeah.
just really had it out for Macedonians. Just odd.
Very strange. 40 people were camped out at Destruction City and in the nearby Shacktown.
Oh, lovely. These names.
It's
Oh,
like the Twin
Canadian,
Cities
though,
of
I'm
Destruction
sorry.
City and Shacktown.
That's right.
I mean, if you listen to
Moving
the
up
news
to
commentary
Shacktown.
about the state of the Twin Cities, Destruction City and Shacktown sounds like that. Generally sounds like what conservative media is probably calling them. So there you go. God, what names? Like, do they
Destruction
know
City,
it's funny?
You start there. Yeah. You move up to Shacktown, and maybe you get like the squat complex later on.
I imagine Shacktown as being more rural and Destruction City as very urban.
Right.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It's a city versus town divide.
It's a bedroom community for Destruction City. So you
yes.
get more single family shacks in Shacktown. Well, in Destruction
sense.
City, it's mostly tenements built out of broken down ships and the hollowed out insides of beavers.
So commute in there to work, which is doing your trapping.
Mm-hmm.
And then you commute back home to Shacktown after.
The public transit is just the moose. Yeah, it's great.
Do I hit you right?
Johnson chose a point 8 miles upstream of Destruction City to build himself a cabin. He was roughly in the vicinity of 3 men, William Vetrequa, Jacob Drymeat, and William Nerisu. Johnson spent the rest of the summer and fall working on an 8 by 10-foot cabin and preparing for the winter trapping season.
Just building your own house. Yeah, I think I'll have a house here. Why not? Is that a
Yeah,
Mitch
wouldn't that
Hedberg
be
joke?
nice? You just pick your spot and build your house right there. You don't have to
Yeah.
worry about building
Yeah,
on
you can
somebody
never-
else's land.
Exactly.
Oh
You can
my
never
God,
be
there's
lost.
no
Just build a house wherever
mortgage.
you are.
It's winter
Yeah.
in the Northwest Territories without electricity. It's great.
See, this guy's loaded. I guess that's why. You don't get rich buying your own house.
No, that's true.
So.
That's true. He met James Hogg at the headwaters of the Rat River at Loon Lake. He was civil to Hogg, but non-committal about his presence in the area. So he's not telling anybody why he's there. So maybe he's not there for trapping.
Johnny Tightlips.
Yep. On Christmas Day, 1931, William Narisu walked into the Arctic Red River Post and complained to Constable Millen that Albert was springing Narisu's traps and hanging them in the trees. The next day, Millen ordered Constable Alfred King and Special Constable Joe Bernard to go question Johnson about the traps.
Sorry to interject, but so he's committing what is likely a cardinal sin in a region of trappers, which is sabotaging his neighbor's traps.
Yeah.
That's pretty serious. If you rely on this to survive.
No, that's the only
serious.
source of income. There's an unbelievable amount of money to be made. And if you sabotage your neighbor's traps, you have to be committing the most cardinal sin in the area.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's surprising that he went to the authorities. Like my grandfather was a trapper out of Manitoba. This is a little bit after this time. He was born in 21. So he would have been 10 at the time of this story.
Mhm.
But he would not suffer trespass lightly, I would say. So I can only imagine if you're Albert Johnson, that much scarier.
The temperature dropped to minus 40 as they made their way to Fort McPherson. Now, with this story, the book that I used as my main resource, called The Mad Trapper of Rat River by Dick North, he doesn't give any units.
Perfect.
So he doesn't say if it's Celsius or Fahrenheit, but at minus 40, they're exactly the same, so it doesn't matter. But later, the temperature will change later on, and I have no idea what he used. At the time, Canada hadn't moved to the metric system at the time this book was written.
Oh, really?
So it's very likely that he used Fahrenheit because he's got miles in there, and he uses pounds.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so we don't have to translate this to heathen then?
No, we don't.
That's right.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay. So if you've never experienced minus 40 Celsius or 45, it's torture. Your exposed skin is painful instantly. So thinking about this time, it's not hospitable weather at all.
It's a weird
your
feeling
face
to have.
hurts. If you breathe, if you've got a scarf on and you breathe through it, the scarf freezes up. It freezes your eyelashes together, so you can't open your eyes anymore. The inside of your nose freezes, which is so unpleasant.
Wet hair will snap.
Yes.
Freeze and snap.
And your forehead freezes, right? If your forehead's exposed, it gets it just feels odd and painful because it's just skull behind it, right? There's not much meat to get a lot of heat going. So yeah, it's minus 40 Celsius and Fahrenheit, same temperature. Avoid it.
Even if you've got a good winter coat, even if you've got a good winter coat, it sounds like it's cracking when you move.
Yeah. Everything becomes brittle.
Ugh.
Yeah, you have to plug your car in at that temperature.
Learned that the hard way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've all made that mistake at least once.
Yeah.
So they stayed the night with John Firth, the Hudson's Bay trader, who invited them to come back for New Year's Eve. Firth was known to throw a good party, and the Mounties agreed that they'd try to make it.
So good party, they're just getting trashed, right?
Yeah, probably.
Just moonshine and
it's Destruction City.
Can you imagine?
They're going into town for New Year's Eve.
Yeah. I'd want to observe but not participate because I think it's terrifying.
To avoid drunk driving, they have a moose setup coming in from Shacktown.
Oh, that's fair. Sensible.
2 days later, on December 28th, 1931, King and Bernard arrived at Johnson's Rat River cabin. King yelled a greeting, but there was no answer from Johnson. His snowshoes were out front, and there was smoke coming from the stovepipe, so someone was home. King introduced himself and stated why he was there. Still no answer. He looked in the window and found Johnson looking back at him. Johnson quickly closed the burlap curtain.
just imagine his face peeking out.
I'm not here.
What do we do now? Where'd he go? He's not here, sir. Can't see him anymore. No object permanence. I'm an RCMP. That's mean. Forget that. Sorry.
It's also true. If you play peekaboo with the cops, you get away from any traffic stop.
That's right. Sorry, can't see it no more.
Yeah, exactly. My eyes are closed. I guess this car's gone. They don't get a ticket.
Under normal circumstances in the North, a traveler could expect to be asked in for tea or to spend the night if needed, but they weren't getting that kind of hospitality today. King suspected Johnson might be wary of them because they were the law.
Da-da-da.
Or if you have a can with like $60,000 in it,
They want
I'd be wary of the law too, because
Yeah.
it is. You don't
Everybody's
pick that sweet can.
eyeing Albert Johnson's sweet can, and
Sweet can.
he is. If I'm Albert Johnson, I maybe wouldn't attract the attention of the law in the first place, but
Yeah,
Like
maybe
this.
just talk to them and agree to what they're saying so they'll go away.
yeah, this all seems like a lot of unforced errors. Like, why would you sabotage your neighbor's trap line, assuming he did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you
Just
don't
leave it.
want negative attention.
Mhm.
So they waited for about an hour, but Albert never came out, nor did he say anything to them.
I love how Canadian that is.
Oh,
Hello,
we'll give him some time.
police, go away. Oh, what do we do now?
Sir, chief. It's like
1 hour later, you hear a wolf howling. They're still outside. Oh.
King knew they'd have to come back with a warrant, which meant they needed to go to a Klavik 80 miles away. But this might not
Oh,
be
damn.
such a bad thing for the Mounties. It would give them a chance to get reinforcements.
Are they going by dog sled? Just out of curiosity. What are they doing at this time? This is are we in the winter yet? I forget.
Yes, this
Year's
is
Eve,
around New Year's Eve.
yeah? Okay.
Yeah, so they are traveling by dog sled.
Right, because he showed up in the summer. We've now moved on to New Year's Eve, and which is why it's also minus 40.
Yep.
Checks out.
Inspector Eames provided a warrant and sent Constable R.G. McDowell and Special Constable Lazarus Sidichinley back with King and Bernard. So they have their warrant and their reinforcements, but why did they need them in the first place? What had Johnson done to require these things?
So that's interesting. So according to the histories you have, he was uncooperative, but he's just accused of something, and they don't have a warrant, and they're coming back with reinforcements. Why do they need reinforcements? What's the threat?
Yes.
Yeah, it just seems
exactly.
like this guy.
That's more
It's
keeping
kinda
in how I
suspicious.
understand police behave, but nonetheless.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Get the tank.
At least they got their warrant, right?
Yeah.
I mean, give them that.
That's true.
They followed
Yeah.
the procedure by the books.
The group left early on the morning of December 30th, and they traveled fast. They wanted to make the New Year's Eve party at Firth's. They
Fair.
reached Albert Johnson's cabin
Yeah.
by noon on December 31st. Johnson was home, but there was no answer when King called out, "Are you there?"
No.
King
Not a fool
shouted
there,
that he...
Chief. Sorry, go on.
Oh, yeah.
King shouted that he had a warrant and would force the door open if Johnson didn't open it. Still nothing from inside. So King approached the door, turned partially sideways, extended his left arm, and knocked with the back of his left hand.
I love the specificity of
Yeah.
extended his left arm. Suddenly the narrative slows,
Mhm.
and then a shot rings out.
Yes.
Got it.
A shot rang out, sounding like a bomb going off in the extreme cold. King was hit, and the shot knocked him back into the snow, but he recovered enough to crawl to the riverbank. A series of shots were then fired by the Mounties into the cabin. Johnson returned fire, but he never came out, and he never said a word.
We knew we should have brought that tank.
Where'd you
Just-
get a tank?
Walmart.
It's pulled by at the Walmart. You pulled some dogs. You had to have dogs pull.
No, you got to have
Oh,
dogs. Everything's by dog sled, right? So you have
Oh,
the
yeah.
dogs hooked up to the tank. The treads aren't going to be working. They haven't been invented
Mhm.
yet. And so it's like, arr, 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 and then this tank slowly being dragged through the tundra.
Mhm.
Instead
Just a
of treads,
spectacle
it's a
alone.
sleigh. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would scare the average person out of their cabin for sure.
So the Mounties lashed King to a sled and started away, hopeful that they could save King's life. But it was a long trip back, and the dogs were already tired from running half the day. The wind kicked up snow, covering their tracks, forcing everyone to have to break trail all over again and exhausting the dogs further.
Also, they
puppers.
were dragging a tank.
Yeah.
That sounds like a shitty journey, though.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. On top of breaking trail again, they had to stop regularly to rub King's face in an attempt to stave off frostbite.
Oh no.
Jesus.
Yeah.
The trail
Just put a scarf
continually...
on him or something, you know? You got a balaclava, you know?
Yeah, cover him up a little.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hmm.
Put one of the dogs on his face. They're cuddly.
Oh, give it a break. Let it chill out.
Yeah. Yeah, they're already tired from running half the day, so just give them a break one at a time.
I know that sled dogs are not really domestic animals and are working animals and are not necessarily cuddly, but those ones there were. And if that guy had a cuddle, maybe he would have been okay.
Yeah, it's just like some group of dogs from the local humane society.
They're all just like golden retrievers and like a few pugs.
Get
Yeah.
Chihuahua in there. Yeah.
But he'd need a little hat and a little jacket and little booties.
Yeah. Too cold for them.
The trail continually rose and fell over steep banks. They had to lower and hoist King in the sled, meaning they averaged only 4 miles per hour, which is like walking speed.
That's walking pace,
Yeah.
yeah.
It took them nearly 20 hours to reach a Klavic, which was actually pretty good, all things considered.
And now he's hit in the
King
arm?
I think he was hit in the chest.
Ooh, okay, gotcha.
With a
That's even
shotgun
worse.
slug. God.
Ooh.
Yeah. King was rushed to the small hospital. Dr. J.K. Urquhart found the bullet pass through the left side of King's chest and out the right,
Okay.
somehow missing vital organs.
Oh
Didn't hit
my
anything
God.
important.
How?
He was a good shot, but he was also a terrible shot.
Like front to back through your chest, I guess you could sort of skim over the top of the lungs. That's wild.
Yikes.
King was in excellent physical condition otherwise, and he was up and around again in about 3 weeks.
My God.
I think he's gonna live.
It
Good for
sounds
him.
like he got grazed. I mean, like by graze, it still went through his chest, but like, didn't go through the lungs and his spine, all the important stuff.
I
God,
guess
that's
that's why they're
insane.
called. Yeah, none of the vital organs. I guess that's why they're called that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing too important.
Inspector Eames chose a force of 9 men and 42 dogs to go after Albert Johnson. He sent word to the Royal Canadian Corps of Signals radio station for Millen to meet them at the mouth of the Rat River.
Just the sea of pugs.
That's right. They're top
Only
dogs
jackets and
on the
tubes.
job.
Their beady eyes like being rimmed with icicles. Just like completely ill-suited, but they had to get what they needed from the Humane Society.
So it's
Just
42
under the
dogs and
snow.
1 dog sled?
Wow. Is that really? Damn.
No.
No.
It's like
But if
going
it was pugs.
Yeah.
as fast as a bullet train. Because it's 42 of them. Somehow. Damn. Need more dog power.
Yeah.
42 dog power.
2 days later, the police posse stopped briefly at ex-constable Arthur Blake's trading post on Peel River and found Constable Edgar Millen and his guide waiting for them. Millen and Blake were, as far as they were aware, the only ones who saw Albert face to face, but Blake wasn't going with them, so it was just Millen. Eames purchased 20 pounds of dynamite from Blake as a just in case.
Look, shooting the guy didn't work. Clearly he's, some kind of superhuman mech suit creature. So dynamite it is.
We know that the tank was a bit, and so they needed the tank of the RCMP, which is 20 pounds of dynamite.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next day, they made camp at the junction of Longstick and Rat Rivers, so probably fairly close to Destruction City.
Right.
Everything in this area is just given the best name. It's all prospector names without a hint of irony. I don't think there's any jokes here. They just think Destruction City. Well, it's destroyed things, therefore it's Destruction City. Just Rat River. God.
Yeah. Full of rats, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they thought the beavers were rats or something, and they just thought they were, I don't know.
Or they called the beavers rats.
No.
The legendary rats of the Northwest Territories are,
Legendary.
Wait, is that real?
No.
No.
I don't think rats were much of an issue there at that point.
I didn't think so. I gotta be careful with you guys in this podcast, though, because I'm so ignorant about many aspects of Canadian history. I'll probably believe anything you tell me, so...
Oh, all right.
I'm just kidding. I'll be on my guard.
So Johnson's cabin should have been about 8 miles away. At dawn the next morning, they set out following a trapline trail. There were too many places where they could be ambushed by Albert Johnson if they just followed the river. The following day, they discovered they were 8 miles above Johnson's cabin. By the time they reoriented themselves near their long stick starting point, they had gone 28 miles in 2 days and used up most of their supplies.
Oof.
Jesus.
Yeah. Just go to the grocery store, Be safe.
Yeah.
A tank to the Walmart.
Oh.
Pulled by 42
Destruction
pugs.
City.
Well, and just getting to this guy's goddamn house and getting
Like-
back from his house, it like expends everything they have.
And they still don't know what's up with him.
No.
He's just not saying nothing.
Nope. Meanwhile, Carl Gardland and Knut Lang were sent to scout out the cabin by going directly downriver. Smoke coming from the stovepipe led them to believe that Johnson was still there.
Fair.
So, despite the fact that he shot a police officer, he's just stayed in his house.
Oh, wait, I guess he did do that now. So they gotta
Genuinely
get him for
wild.
that.
Like,
Okay.
what is
Yeah.
going
Just
through
hanging out.
anybody's head at this point?
I mean, I guess it's minus 40, so you don't want to leave if you don't have to.
Yeah, true.
Eames had set up camp close to the cabin, and the next morning the posse advanced up the river. The temperature was minus 45.
Too cold.
Shortly before noon on January 9th, 1932, the men moved up the riverbank. Eames shouted for Johnson to come out, that King had survived and Johnson wouldn't be charged with murder. But there was dead silence. The Mounties ran a series of sorties in an attempt to gain access to the cabin, but nothing worked. They were under heavy enough fire from Johnson that it was impossible for them to attack long enough to batter down the 4-foot cabin door.
Oh wait, so Johnson has started firing.
Yes.
Okay, I think I missed that, which is why they're running sorties and not just walking up and knocking on the door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got it.
So what are they doing? They're kind of running up, shooting in the window,
Yeah.
running away, like kind of...
Yeah. The level of fire showed that...
I guess they want to hold off and see if they can get... Not have to use dynamite until they have to, perhaps.
Yeah, leave that as a last resort. The level of fire showed that Johnson was either lying prone on the floor or standing or kneeling in a pit. During one sortie by Gardland and Lang, Lang slammed the butt of his rifle against the door, jarring it open. Lang reported that Johnson was firing from a pit. He noted that Johnson was firing 2 handguns, but later this proved to be a sawed-off shotgun and a .22 rifle with the stock sawed off.
So one in each hand.
Damn. He's prepared. He's in a pit,
That,
too.
actually, that
like,
might explain why this
guy's-
legendary shot is missing a lot and not murdering everybody, because he's trying to get bullets in the air to keep them back. But yeah, it's just like a sawed-off shotgun in one hand and a rifle in the other. That's insane.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. As if the intense cold and heavy fire wasn't enough, the posse was also running low on supplies, again. They'd either have to break through soon or retreat. So the posse also had questions. Why had Johnson shot King? Why didn't he try to escape after that?
He's just standing his ground. Like there is something about this type of person. It's like people who wouldn't leave in the path of a hurricane, you know? It's like, no, this is my place. This is my home. You know, it's almost a self-destructive urge.
Yeah, he's made everything worse for himself.
Yeah.
And has also done so in a way that shows such unbelievable self-confidence and well-earned, I think. But also, like, where does this go, buddy?
Getting too confident. I'm a crack shot. I can just take these guys out, but eventually...
maybe he's trying not to hit anybody else. Just keeping them away.
He genuinely might be going, they had to go 80 billion miles here. They're almost out of pugs. And I am warm. I'm inside my house. And I can fill the air with enough bullets that they're going to find out I'm not worth it. That very well might be the strategy. Because again, if he's a crack shot and he's got 2 gigantic 2-handed guns in each hand and it's going pew, 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 nothing's going to hit anything. It's just going to fill the air with bullets.
Yeah.
Because that's so inaccurate. And also, like, how do you not break your wrist? Like, I can't... I'm not a gun person.
I know.
But that's insane to me.
Yeah. There's going to be kickback on those things, too, right? Like, it's...
Oh, God, yeah.
Difficult, you'd think.
At 9 p.m., Inspector Eames ordered the dynamite thawed out. They threw sticks of it...
Well, I guess if it's minus 45.
Well, of course it's thawed.
Never occurred to me.
Now, the way they thaw it is what they do is that... Do you know how honeybees kill giant hornets?
Yes.
No.
They flap their wings to create heat for the air.
That's exactly it. So if one of those giant Asian murder hornets shows up at a honeybee nest because they kill bees, they all jump on it and then flap their wings really quickly and cook it. And that's how they kill it. Because otherwise it will destroy an entire hive on its own because it's too big and tough for honeybees to hurt it. So what happens when you need to thaw the dynamite is you get the pugs on the dynamite and they start vibrating like little dogs do, and that thaws the dynamite.
Oh yeah, little cold dog shake, the small dog shakes. They all
Yeah,
have. Yeah.
I mean, our
I can see
little
that.
dog definitely has the small dog shake, and we use her to thaw our dynamite.
Oh, perfect. Oh, don't give away your family secrets.
Yeah, sorry. This is a rural backcountry wisdom from, you live in the middle of nowhere in Canada.
As dynamite, it's just part of the tools of everyday life, you know.
It's part of our local culture, and I don't care
Mhm.
what Justin Trudeau says. It's my dynamite.
Exactly. That's right. You'll buy
Yes,
it from
there's
your
more
full
modern
business.
explosives. Maybe I could use C4 and foe. No, I want to use dynamite like my forefathers did before me.
That's right, traditional style. And the C4
Fuck
and
you,
foam,
Mark
that'll
Carney.
be yeah. The C4 and foam, they're probably even harder to thaw. You need more dogs. More dogs.
That's why the old ways work better. It's like how the
That's
Russians
right.
use a pencil in that old joke rather than the
Yeah.
special space pen. We use rural Albertan dynamite because you can't thaw C4 quite as well.
There we go.
And thankfully, we have a healthy, humane society with a lot of pugs to go through.
Yay.
Our dog is also half pug. Okay.
Aw, yeah.
So the posse threw sticks of dynamite at the cabin, but it wasn't effective.
Well, you should have lit them first, asshole.
Now keep the pugs from fetching.
Oh,
Keep
yeah.
the pugs
No,
from
remember
fetching.
the
no.
golden retriever joke I had earlier? The golden retrievers that fetch the dynamite.
Yeah. But they didn't light it first, so they'll bring it back and it's okay.
But
next
I'm
time,
assuming even if they did light it, they throw the dynamite and it explodes and doesn't blast in the wall because that's not how setting explosives works.
not really a Bugs Bunny cartoon, unfortunately.
It's a
Although it
very
kind of
police.
sounds like one.
It's very Bugs Bunny, but also
Oh God, Yosemite Sam. You know,
yeah,
double-fisted
you've got
lead,
Yosemite Sam in the
guns,
pit.
gunman, you know,
And
yeah.
you've got
Bombs
police
everywhere.
who have munitions beyond their expertise that they have no idea how to use in this ludicrously overwrought attempt to take out a criminal who did kill a policeman, comma. Everyone's kind of committing some errors here.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And
sorry.
the
go on,
dynamite,
Tracy.
yeah. Well, the dynamite was from Acme also, so not smart.
Oh, that was their mistake.
You know.
It's the
Yeah.
public government. It's got its sole supplier, and someone was a friend, and it's all Acme all the way up. That's why the
That's
country
right.
is in the state it is.
You said it.
At midnight, Lang volunteered to go over the bank and throw the dynamite on the cabin's roof. Under covering fire, he was successful. The dynamite blew a large hole in the roof and knocked the stovepipe off. Lang launched himself through the cabin door but froze for whatever reason and failed to shoot Johnson. Then he retreated.
Oh, no.
Albert Johnson was unfazed, and once the smoke cleared, he started shooting again.
What a guy. You jump
Johnson
into
just
the
made
breach.
a face at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. Yeah. Jump into the breach, your brave moment, and you freeze. It might have been just that cold. Like literally just.
No, he
Yeah,
might have literally
he
frozen.
literally
Yeah,
froze.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Ice,
I
yeah.
mean the pugs are already on the next stick of dynamite, so they're not available to thaw him. Yeah,
Nope.
they're low on supplies. It's a whole thing.
Oh, what a mess.
At 3 a.m. on January 10th, Eames bound up the remaining 4 pounds of dynamite and heaved it at the cabin. The blast ripped the roof.
Oh no! Lost 3 of our
All right,
best
now
pugs
throw the
that day.
dynamite. We lost good pugs that day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we really do love our little dog. Okay,
No, we know. That's why you can make fun.
The blast ripped the
Joke
roof
because you
off
care.
and partially collapsed the walls. Gardland and Eames charged the building. Gardland carried a flashlight as well, which he hoped would blind Johnson. But when he reached the door and shone the flashlight in, Albert was not only alert, he was also able to shoot the flashlight. Gardland and Eames retreated.
oh, that's so cool. That's
Damn.
just Batman shit.
But that's a perfect target, though. The one circle of light in the dark. Like
It's
kinda,
very clear he is not trying to kill anybody here because
Right.
And so if we're trying to interrogate this guy's brain, then we're like, okay, I didn't kill a cop. Therefore, if I don't kill a cop still, and all this falls apart, I still haven't killed a cop, but I don't want them to get me. So
Right.
this does follow a certain pattern of reason.
Some of the men suggested burning Albert out, but Eames wanted to take him alive. They decided to retreat for more supplies, and they all departed at 4 a.m. after a 15-hour standoff.
In minus 45 weather.
Wow, but they're all leaving too. So it's like, well, all of that.
We tried.
We got to take off. We'll leave him by himself. But maybe they're assuming, well, he ain't going anywhere. But it's
Do not
been
go
blown to
anywhere.
bits. Yeah, stay
I'm
here.
giving you an
Stay in your
order.
rubble.
Stay in the
Yeah.
rubble.
Yeah.
Now that your house is no longer secure, you need to stay there and not go anywhere.
I know, yeah. We'll be right back.
Yeah, like give us 2 to 3 months, and we will come back and arrest you. Okay? Don't shoot at us again. That would be really bad.
But he
Yeah.
didn't say anything, so we'll take that as a yes.
All right, let's get more pugs.
On January 14th, Millen and Garland were sent back to keep an eye on Johnson. They found that he abandoned the cabin and escaped.
No
Kill
way!
Surprise.
He
I
abandoned
mean, his
his
house with no roof, he didn't want to stay in anymore. In minus 45 weather in early January in the Northwest Territories with the police after him. I'm shocked.
No,
Absolutely.
He's got his sweet can out of there, you know?
All they want is my sweet can.
News flashed over the long-wave radio that Johnson was still holding out. The first news about Johnson was the shooting of King, broadcast on January 6th. Somewhere along the line, someone called him the Mad Trapper of Rat River, and the name stuck.
Because it's amazing.
Yeah. The whole thing is made for like a tabloid. Mad Trapper of Rat River. And it is actually accurate. Seems
Yeah, it
mad.
is.
He's a trapper. Rat River. There you go.
He does seem pretty mad.
The Mad Trapper of Destruction City would not work because it's too goofy. Despite the fact he's also the Mad Trapper of Destruction City.
Well, he
It
lived
is
outside
accurate,
of Destruction City.
No, that's true. He's the Mad Trapper of the Destruction City metropolitan area.
There we
That's
go.
right.
The GDA.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. The GDA.
The Greater Destruction Area.
How wide? It's like every urban center, really. Greater Destruction Area. Yeah. How widely known was this tale? Was it going out on the airwaves in Canada, like on the radio, in the newspapers?
Yeah, it had been picked
getting
up
out
by the
there?
media,
Right.
and people were glued to their radio sets listening to it, just following every step.
Right, because it goes out over long wave, and we're in the 30s, so there's a radio in every house. Yeah, everyone's listening to this. How could you not? This is the coolest shit.
Yeah, it's a live podcast, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was a lot of public sympathy for Albert Johnson.
I'm joking.
There was a lot of public sympathy for him?
Yes.
Amazing. Again, you cheer for the underdog.
Every time. Yeah, he's clearly like fucked up. He's done fucked up, and he's in the wrong. Now that he's shot somebody. But
everybody has had the RCMP throw pugs and dynamite at their house, and they know whose side they're on.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You don't want that, those pugs.
So the public, it seemed, preferred to root for the underdog.
I guess so.
Sorry, all this stupid pug bit coming back to the underdog. Anyways, more like the underfoot dog.
Got him. Take that, pugs.
Yeah.
Garland and Millen went through the wreckage of the cabin. There was no sign of Johnson or anything to indicate his identity. There was nothing there other than a cache of goods and a canoe. The two marveled at how Johnson managed to escape. Eames called Johnson, a quote, an extremely shrewd and resolute man capable of quick thought and action, a tough and desperate character.
So
left him on his own for 3 days, and he got away.
Yeah.
He's too smart for us. Brilliant. It's like Moriarty.
Fighting off the RCMP when they came in with an armada of Pugglemite. I get that. But the escape was not particularly brilliant.
No.
They just left him alone for a while and he walked off without leaving his ID in the rubble.
He took his wallet with him.
To his identity. Yeah, because he left.
And they blew up his cabin, so they probably blew up his passport, I guess. I don't know.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
His international prospector passport.
That's right.
His birth certificate was left behind.
Yeah, no, he had like visa stamps from like Gumption Island and Tarnation Town and
That's right.
Yeah.
Hoare Peninsula.
That's right. It's actually an island. Sorry, I just
No, that was actually set up for that, so you're good.
But okay. Touche. Or no. Cheers.
Cheers.
Eames got on the long wave radio and broadcast an appeal for volunteers, and 2 men from the Royal Canadian Signals and several white and Indigenous trappers spoke up to help.
It'd be exciting. Think about that.
Yeah.
Trapping the most dangerous game of all. Man.
Yes.
A crazy man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't know. We don't know. Madman.
Yeah.
A crazy man with some guns.
That's right.
Yeah, the most dangerous game of all is actually not a man that you loose to chase down. It's a man with a lot of guns who doesn't want you to come near him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more of a fair fight.
Yeah.
On January 16th, the second posse left Aklavik. One of the members was Quartermaster Sergeant S.F. Riddle of the Signals. He was known as a great bushman and a bridge between the old world and the new. He could take care of engines, but he was also an expert on dog sledding. He brought
Why
several
can't I
homemade
be the
beer
great
bottles.
bushman? Hey-oh. Sorry.
Also, who are the Signals?
The Royal Canadian Signals.
Fair enough. Well, they're royal, they're Canadian, they're Signals. I get the impression that they're maybe like Rangers or airplane bush pilot kind of folks.
The Royal Canadian Corps of Signals is a component within the Canadian Armed Forces Communication and Electronics Branch.
Okay.
Yeah, so they provide communication support and information systems for the Canadian Army.
I'm literally imagining though, like flags and like smoke signals though. So
Yeah.
I'm probably a bit off. Maybe more advanced by the 30s.
Arranging the pugs on the ground to spell letters.
They'll just stay they'll stay in place. They're not wiggly or anything.
Riddle also brought several homemade beer bottle bombs and a few more made from outboard engine cylinders, just in case.
Damn. What do you call a
a-
Canadian Molotov cocktail? That sounds like a punchline, but I don't have an answer. Or since we set up, I don't have an answer.
We'll set up, or we'll answer that punchline multiple episodes from now. And I guess a beer bottle bomb is probably just going to be gunpowder in a beer bottle or something, since we know what a Molotov is. But wild. Okay, so more explosives.
Yep. They took along a low-powered radio to relay messages to Sergeant Neary, who was running the radio station. The posse ran into a blizzard that covered Johnson's tracks, and they set up a base camp 9 miles east of Johnson's cabin. 11 Athabascan men turned up to help in the search for Johnson, but no one was able to locate any sign of him. Eames again faced the issue of diminishing supplies. He chose to cut down to the bare minimum so they could go for 10 days.
Yeah, you gotta feel those dogs, you know?
Yeah.
Pugs have a big appetite.
They eat so much. Eames elected Millen to lead the search. He was accompanied by Gardland, Riddle, and a trapper named Verville. Millen and party found themselves faced with the question of which way to go. The Rat River was full of cottonwood, willow, poplar, and spruce, and there was a lot of windfall. They decided that what they would do if they were Johnson was continue upriver. Along their way, they discovered 2 caches. One had half a ton of food, which they left there and watched, treating it as bait if Johnson happened to come back for it. But he didn't.
Half a ton?
Yeah, that's a lot of stockpiling.
Like, yeah.
Good Lord. So he's trapping and setting up food, and rather than carrying half a ton of weight with him. I have a vision of him with like a gigantic bag 16 times his own size, carrying it like an ant. No, he just filled a cache because he knew how to live off of the land. I'm an idiot.
Right.
Go on.
So what is it? Like,
yeah, but he didn't have...
Oh yeah, so what is it? Is it like canned goods, pemmican, dried meat? I'm trying to picture it this time. The kind of supplies.
I mean, 1 moose.
Well, yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Actually, half a moose.
There you go. Be very heavy.
Yeah, and we know that he didn't have a dog sled because he originally came down the Peel River on a raft.
Yeah.
And all they found was a canoe at the house.
Were his snowshoes blown up?
No, and he ate all of his pugs weeks ago.
Yeah, he would have had to.
It's just multi-purpose. It's great. Every prospector has a few.
Yep.
Well, you can't eat a snowmobile, right? So, your pugs.
You can try.
So you gotta have the dog team. Yeah, I guess, that's true.
Yep.
There was a guy who ate a plane. Anyway, that's another story altogether.
Oh, God. On January 28th, the temperature hit minus 47.
Oh, no.
These men were incredibly fit and even used to the low temperatures, but they were still having trouble. Supplies dwindled and they were almost out of dog food. Riddle circled the camp while the others were warming up by the fire. He found the faint hint of a trail on glare ice, which went to the top of a ridge and disappeared. He was a good tracker, though, and was able to find it again in a small creek. It was approximately 2 days old.
Oh, wow. So he's got, a couple days lead on them.
But they're also closing in on this guy who, to be clear, has tried to just vanish into the Northwest Territories and into mountains. And they still managed to predict where he was going to go and then pick up his trail, which is genuinely impressive. It'll be the first time I'll ever say you got to hand it to the RCMP, or more specifically, the very skilled trappers that they hired.
That's right. Those
And I
are
think
true
Riddle
heroes.
was a member of the Corps of Signals, so he wasn't even RCMP.
Oh, fair enough. Even better.
So Riddle was preparing to snowshoe back to camp when, quote, a sharp crack behind him split the northern silence like a thunderclap. He dived into a snowbank, at the same time levering a shell into the chamber of his rifle. Stoically, he waited for the inevitable second shot. Then he realized the sound was nothing more than a tree popping under the strain of the piercing cold, end quote.
Having heard that, it is terrifying.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Just the crack in the cold.
A tree. Yeah, when a tree cracks due to the cold, it sounds like an explosion.
Our house cracks in the cold, and it sounds
Everything
like
does.
small explosions.
Oof.
But it hasn't collapsed yet, so we're doing pretty good.
Woohoo!
Well, no one's thrown all the dynamite at it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You haven't had the dynamite issue with the RCMP, so that's good.
Or they just throw it against the side of the house without lighting it, so it's not a problem.
Just
That's
clink.
right.
Point.
What was that? Oh, well. Who cares? Yeah.
And then we just take it inside, use Nor to thaw the dynamite, and we're good.
That's right. Yeah.
It's how the ecosystem works in rural Alberta. It's pretty great.
Yeah. Dogs, dynamite,
Yeah.
The next day, January 29th, the temperature continued to drop, sitting at minus 49 degrees. They followed the trail Riddle found through several old camps, but then they lost the trail completely. The group was getting to know Albert Johnson's habits. He never crossed a creek except on glare ice. He traveled ridges where the snow was packed and the trail was hard to find. Often he made long zigzag patterns. Doing that, he'd be able to watch the men from one side of the Zed.
Oh, that's
So he's
very
experienced. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like he's run away from the cops before.
I was about to say. And also just seems like one of the most competent men who's ever lived. Maybe not competent at not having the police shoot at him, but still competent.
Yeah.
He has the skills, but has trouble, maybe in the social aspect of life.
He makes poor decisions for himself.
That's
He
right.
does. Johnson's stamina seemed to be almost superhuman. With his traveling patterns, he was snowshoeing 2 steps for every one by the trackers. He couldn't use his rifle to hunt because of the noise, so he'd be limited to snaring squirrels and rabbits. Fires could only be built under the cover of a snowbank. He expertly ran such a pattern of trails that once 2 of the trackers met head-on.
And again, these are trackers. They know what they're doing. They're not fools. They're people who live in this area and know how to live there. Just incredible.
A Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck scenario. Just circling around, maybe following a path and same trail, run into each other. Oh, yeah.
No, it's like Daffy and Elmer Fudd are shooting Bugs Bunny,
There you
are hunting down Bugs Bunny, and then they meet each other, and Elmer shoots Daffy. Yeah,
that's right.
Just to
The beak
put his
just
bill
flies
on
back,
correctly.
Yeah, that's right. Just like real life.
Mm-hmm.
The group was trying to decide which way to go when an indigenous man on a dog sled caught up with them. He heard a shot in the vicinity of Bear River, where Millen and company had first picked up the trail. It was possible that Johnson took a chance to replenish his food supply when the trackers lost his trail and wouldn't be able to hear the shot. They acknowledged that anyone could have fired that shot, but Millen took a chance and decided to go for it. They followed him from the Bear River, down the Rat, and 5 miles up a small creek. Along the way, they found the odd piece of caribou, leading them to believe he was on the right track.
Oh, he's getting sloppy now.
Yeah.
Getting desperate. Took a shot.
Well, and
scraps.
they got his supply cache, and even though he genuinely appears to be Beard Batman, actually, and I think we know what he looked like. He didn't have a beard, but as a trapper, you just assume they do. And
yeah, there are pictures available online, but we'll talk about those later. They lost the trail until someone noticed a wisp of smoke in the steep canyon below from the ridge they were on. They followed the ridge until they were above his camp and could see the edge of a tarp and a fire. They couldn't see Johnson, but they could hear him puttering around and whistling in the trees.
Wow.
The group waited for 2 hours, but never actually saw him, and at dusk they headed back to camp. Staff Sergeant Hersey set out to deliver supplies to Millen's party. He arrived at the out camp on Saturday, January 30th, but missed them. The temperature had warmed up to minus 36 with a raging blizzard when the group of 4 went in to apprehend Johnson.
Toasty, comparatively.
Yeah, it's warmed up. It's practically spring now.
They're probably using the blizzard deliberately because, good shot and all.
Yeah. They arrived at the canyon unnoticed. Riddle and Gardland managed to get within 15 yards of the camp, hemming Johnson in against a cliff. Verville and Millen started down the ridge to the creek bed when one of them slipped. They made enough noise to alert Johnson, who loaded a shell into his rifle. Then he spotted Millen and shot at him. Millen and Verville dropped to the ground and shot back. Johnson jumped across the campfire and Garland shot at him. It seemed that Johnson may have been hit. He appeared to collapse behind a fallen tree. Millen yelled for Johnson to give up, but there was no reply. Minutes went by and there was no sign of Johnson. Then an hour and there was still nothing. Just silence.
Huh.
It's a trick. Get an axe. Sorry.
I was about to say, it's like, well, I shot him and he fell down and there's been nothing for an hour. Is it fine?
After 2 hours, Millen elected to go in after Albert Johnson against the advice of Verville. Riddle joined Millen. Quote, they had walked about 5 paces when Riddle suddenly shouted, watch it, and ran and dived headlong over a nearby embankment, just as a shot thundered and the rifle slug whistled through the trees above his head. End quote.
Jesus.
Millen saw the movement of Johnson's rifle barrel, dropped down, and fired off a shot. Johnson shot back. They both missed. Millen fired again, and Johnson got off 2 quick shots, so quick they sounded like just one.
And this is a rifle in the 1930s.
Yeah.
God.
Quote, Millen suddenly rose up, whirled, and fell face down in the snow, his rifle falling beside him. End quote.
Alas!
Garland was able to drag him out of Johnson's line of fire. Millen had been killed instantly by a shot through his heart.
Damn.
So now he's killed someone. Now it's going to get serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now, you know what? This has escalated the situation. This gunfight just got a little bit more serious. Get the Pugglemite. Hear this as these vibrating little dogs start thawing the bombs.
Gonna warm up that dynamite.
Yeah.
The 3 remaining men decided to send Riddle back to Aklavik with the news. They built a stage cache to keep Millen's body out of the reach of predators and retired to their camp a mile away. Hersey was waiting for them with supplies. The next morning, they found that Johnson had made his escape up the cliff.
Mm-hmm. Damn, up the cliff.
Yeah.
They're fighting Batman.
The longer Johnson held out, the greater his support from the public became. They were hoping for the underdog to win and escape. People sat by their radio sets for news of the chase, and everyone seemed to have an opinion. There was even a spike in the purchase of radio sets at this time, as everyone wanted news on the chase.
Well, think of the water cooler conversations people are having. Damn.
Right?
Yeah, the entire office is talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Hear about this Johnson fella? But at a certain point, I don't know, it is like you said, the underdog case, but now he's like killed somebody and kind of, I don't know, sounds like a jerk, but
yeah,
yeah,
he doesn't sound like the most pleasant person.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want him to be my neighbor, I guess. But,
to put it delicately, I plan for one of my future episodes to be about the history of the RCMP, and there's probably a reason why they didn't get a lot of public support.
Also that. Yeah.
They didn't endear themselves to everyone, not to mention that the humane societies were effectively puppy mills at this point, just so they could feed into this deranged pug habit.
Oh, yeah. See, that is a whole episode in itself, too.
There's some great stories on the history of the RCMP during the settlement of the West. Totally look into those.
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, yeah.
When they were still the Northwest Mounted Police.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the thing, too. Our history, we love to gloss over that for sure. So I know the general bad news about the RCMP, but I haven't gone into too much detail. So curious to hear more for sure at a later time.
There is it's one of those things is that all national identities are a kind of myth making, and one of the fun things about looking into history and really looking at it is you can start looking at those myths from a different perspective and what they're doing and what they're for, and that's fun.
Yeah,
sure is, because the truth actually is more interesting than the myth.
Always,
I think.
Always.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Eames requested a plane to be dispatched to the north. People scoffed. A plane had never been used by the RCMP to track a man down. Necessary landings and takeoffs would be dangerous under the conditions. However, it would alleviate the constant supply problem in feeding all the sled dogs involved. Each dog ate about 2 pounds of fish per day. 5 teams of 5 dogs could eat up to 500 pounds of food in 10 days.
Jesus Christ.
Damn.
Eames radioed the plane request to A.E. Ackland, the commander of G Division in Edmonton.
He's the guy who's got the tie to Acme, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's their connect. Yeah.
The request was forwarded to the RCMP headquarters in Ottawa, where it was expedited to the Cabinet of the Canadian government. Major General J.H. McBrien and Hugh Guthrie, the Minister of Justice, debated the idea only briefly before approving it.
Because I guess it would get to the corridors of power if it's a huge story. The RCMP just can't get this guy. Eventually, it's like, all right, at all costs,
Yeah, I mean,
fine,
it
Yeah.
becomes a
throw a plane up there.
humiliation, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone's cheering against them, and they're all sad, and yeah.
Yeah.
By Wednesday, February 3rd, a Belanca monoplane leased from Western Canadian Airways was ready for use and to be piloted by none other than World War I flying ace Wilfred Wop May.
Oh no,
Amazing.
that nickname is yeah.
It's an
Problematic.
unfortunate nickname,
Yeah.
but it was given to
Oh
him by a young niece who probably couldn't say his name properly.
yeah. That's all
So
right.
there's nothing nefarious there.
That's good.
Nonsense. His
Nothing
niece
right.
was a fervent anti-Italian racist, and that niece's name was Bowser.
That's right. Yeah, Bowser and the anti-Italian bigotry has to stop, you know? We have Mario and Luigi on the case, though, so
Yes.
that does help.
The day before, Inspector Eames set off for Rat River with Riddle and 4 other men. February 5th, the party that originally located Albert Johnson lost him in the creek beds and the canyons of the Rat and Barrier River watersheds. Johnson took to hard-packed snow, which enabled him to make good time. Watt May piloted the plane into a clavic on the same day and actively joined the search on February 7th. He was able to land near Eames' party and began ferrying supplies to the searchers near Barrier River. On February 8th, Constable Sidney May, no relation to Womp, a second constable, and several trappers joined the search after traveling over the Richardson Mountains from Lapierre House.
What may, but
How
Sydney
many?
will.
Yeah. There you go. They got a lot of guys on this now.
That's
How
old
many?
joke.
Like, oh.
I'm not sure
They got a
how
lot of guys in
many
this
are. Yeah, I'm not sure how many are on the case total, but they've started bringing in people from just all over the north.
No,
Mhm.
there's like 42 sled dogs per person, a bandolier of pugs. There's just they're all resources are coming in here. And
Yeah,
that
and
means that there's at least 14 tons of fish required per person. The supply trains are just treacherous.
yeah. Well, it's kind of wild. It's all for one guy, but then it becomes like a sunk cost fallacy. Plus, he did kill somebody, so yeah,
Yeah.
got to keep going. Can't really
You
give
know,
up, I
there's
suppose.
one rule with the police. There's one rule with the police, and that's don't kill one. That and all the other rules,
That's
that is
it.
their entire job to enforce.
I mean, they might be kind of lax when it comes to solving, I don't know, the Picton case, but when you shoot one of their own, they'll follow you to the ends of the earth with their pugs.
Oh, yeah. That'd be an episode. Anyways.
Yeah.
No one had any idea where Johnson was heading. Some thought Alaska, but no one was entirely sure. Ultimately, Johnson decided to cross the Richardson Mountains and headed west, so he could have been making his way to the border. Hersey later said that one of the reasons Johnson likely went that way was because the snow was deeper on the western side and didn't pack like it did on the eastern side. This would slow down a dog team and give a man on snowshoes a better chance at escaping.
Clever.
The manhunt spanned the breadth of the Northland, from Whitehorse in the Yukon to Fort Norman, now called Toledo, on the banks of the Mackenzie River in the Northwest Territories. Patrols were sent out from Dawson City and Mayo in the Yukon Territory. Too much was at stake for the RCMP to let Johnson get away. They had a reputation for always getting their man. The overwhelming publicity of the chase had put that reputation on the line.
It's interesting. That seemed to be their desired reputation for maybe, what, 5 or 10 years? Then they're like, fuck it.
I don't know where that reputation came from.
I knew it growing up, right? The RCMP or the Mounties always get their man was something in sort of the national mythology.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
certainly my understanding of
myth-
modern law enforcement or having RCMP in a local town. Yeah.
don't get their man, so no. They kind of gave up on that.
Eames ordered Constable May and 3 others to the headwaters of the Barrier River to continue the search. Others were ordered to check the most traveled routes to Lapierre House. The first break in the case came February 12, 1932. Several Indigenous men reported seeing strange snowshoe tracks east of Lapierre House. It was incredible to everyone for Johnson to have outwitted and outrun all the searchers, the patrols, and even the plane while traveling on foot and living off the land with no supplies. It was incredible that he managed to cross the Richardson Mountains on foot during a blizzard.
Jesus Christ.
It
It's like
is,
a
but it's
reverse
like
Donner Party.
Wow, yeah, it is. It totally is. Yeah, because I think about that context too. He's one guy taking care of himself. He can slip through the trees or whatever he's doing. Where you got a whole gang of dudes and all their supplies, all their dogs, all this stuff. They got to kind of constantly be moving like a whole party of people. So you can kind of see that slowing him down a bit, I guess, right?
Well, and the
Yeah.
Richardson Mountains are not like, they're pretty beefy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I mean, they're not because they're not exactly what we're driving past all the time, but they're not
Mhm.
like low hills that might be kind
No.
of called a mountain. They're mountainy. They're pointy.
Hmm.
February 13th. Eames, Gardland, Riddle, and another man flew to Lapierre House. At the same time, Signal Staff Sergeant Hersey, Constable Sid May, and 6 other men started across the mountains through Rat Pass. They arrived at noon, and May immediately took off again for the Johnson. Sorry,
Rat
go ahead.
Pass just made me laugh. Where are we going to the Rat Pass?
That stuff
I
has
just-
to be named after muskrats, right? Which is why they're probably
Oh.
called muskrats, as they're somewhat rat looking.
Right.
But the lack of rats in the area and everything named after rats is just quite something.
I'm just picturing rat bouncers, like, you know.
In tight t-shirts.
Sorry, bud.
Yeah.
No lemmings.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's right.
They arrived at noon, and May immediately took off again to look for Johnson's trail. He found it leading up Eagle River, but the tracks disappeared among the caribou herd trails.
Smart.
February 14th. Conditions were poor for flying, and Wat May only managed an hour of flying time, but this was long enough to pick up the trail 20 miles up Eagle River.
That's pretty impressive. Like looking down,
Mhm.
seeing what you can see, finding the trails
Yeah,
in the snow.
yes. February 15th, Hersey's party arrived at Lapierre House. Fog forced the plane to stay on the ground. The party took a short break and then set out to follow Eames' group. They were able to meet up and proceed together. In order to show Wat May where they were, they cut down spruce trees and formed arrows in the snow that he could follow once the visibility was good enough to fly. February 16th. The fog was still bad, so no plane. The searchers continued up Eagle River. February 17th. The fog began clearing in the morning. The searchers were on one side of a hairpin in the river, with Johnson on the other. He very likely heard them, though it's possible Johnson thought that they were coming downriver rather than up. He ran into ski tracks from trappers and probably thought they were from the posse, so he turned around and backtracked.
First mistake.
So
Well, I
thought
mean,
he
one
thought
of
they
them.
were going one way, and so he
Mhm.
backtracked, thinking he'd be behind them, following them. He's going to walk right into them.
Yeah, just before noon, they ran head on into Albert Johnson. Hersey was in the lead. Quote, he was startled when he saw me. He put on his homemade snowshoes and started for the bank of the river, end quote. Hersey grabbed his rifle and got a shot off. Johnson took a few steps and then turned and fired. The bullet went through Hersey's left elbow and knee because he was kneeling, and then ripped through his chest.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
Sid May thought Hersey was dead and signaled for the party to break into, and they moved up both sides of the river. Johnson threw himself in the snow and used his backpack as a bulwark. The two groups moved quickly while Eames and Sid May went up the middle, with Eames shouting for Johnson to surrender. Group 1 was on the high bank with Johnson below, stuck between the two groups. Group 1 started shooting. One bullet hit ammo in Johnson's pocket and took out a chunk of his thigh.
Gotta.
Bullet hit his shoulder and his side, but Johnson kept firing. Again, Eames called for surrender, and again Johnson said nothing and continued to fire. The posse rained bullets down on Johnson, who was taking cover in a shallow depression.
I.e., he had poor cover. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Wat May and Jack Bowen shot pictures from their plane. Quote, we came roaring down the river, and once again I peered down at Johnson in his snow trench. Then I realized as I circled over the posse, I saw a figure laying on a bedroll and realized that one of our party had been hit. I circled back upriver, passing over the posse and Johnson. As I flew over the fugitive's lair, it seemed as though he was lying in an unusual position. I nosed the Blanca down until our skis were tickling the snow. Johnson, I could plainly see as I flashed past, was lying face down in the snow, his right arm outflung, grasping his rifle. I knew as I looked that he was dead. End quote.
damn, what an end.
Wow,
Yeah.
Didn't say a word, just running and shooting.
Sid May went forward, rifle in hand, ready for anything. He used his rifle to turn Johnson's body over. He was definitely dead with a bullet through his spine. Watt May said that Johnson's lips curled back in, quote, the most terrible sneer. It was the most awful grimace of hate, end quote.
Yikes. Yeah, that would look pretty creepy.
Yeah. Hersey was seriously wounded but conscious the whole time. They loaded him on a
Oh.
plane and he was in a clavic in an hour. Dr. Urquhart, quote, went through the hole in my chest and tied off the arteries, which were bleeding so much. An anesthetic was not used, end quote.
Ah!
Oh.
I heard an echo on that one. Christ.
The body
I'd
of
keep that
Albert...
slug. Sorry.
Yeah. The body of Albert Johnson was taken to Lapierre House by dog sled. The next day it was flown to a clavic. Pictures were taken of him, then the doctor conducted a complete physical exam. Fingerprints were taken and sent to Ottawa and Washington, and later Johnson was buried in an unmarked grave, having never uttered a single word the entire time.
Damn. So, total mystery man. Don't even know if that's even his name, yeah?
Yeah, we don't know.
Huh.
Johnson was about 5 feet 9.5 inches tall, 150 pounds, with light blue eyes, and light brown hair.
Oh, what a freak. Sorry.
The doctor also noticed that...
He's one of the White Walkers. Get him.
Kinda, yeah.
The doctor also noted that Johnson had an upturned nose and his ears were lobed. He was estimated to be approximately 35 to 40 years old.
Aren't all of our ears lobed?
Now, some people have the lobus connected.
Oh, right. It's like a single thing. It doesn't like dip.
One of those things you learn about in biology class is how earlobes may or may not be connected according to a gene you have.
Yeah. At the time of his death, Johnson carried with him a Model 99 Savage 30-30 rifle, a 22 Winchester rifle sawed off at the butt, an Ivor Johnson 16-gauge shotgun with both barrels sawed off and the wooden butt removed so that it looked a bit like a handgun. He also had his bedroll, a backpack, a small compass, a lard tin used for brewing tea, and an axe. Johnson also carried $2,410 in 20s, 50s, and 100s, and had $20 American. There were also 2 small bottles. One contained 5 small pearls worth about $15, and the other held 5 pieces of dental bridge work. He also had a number of little white pills.
Dental bridge work.
The coroner's jury said that...
Did he...
What? PCP.
It's almost
explains
like
everything.
PCP? Good. The bridge work is weird. It sounds like he's almost like it's like a serial killer trophy or something. You know what I mean? Unless it's his own bridge work.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, there were some theories that it was his.
Yeah, because where did he get all the money and the pearls? It's very interesting.
Well, it's not uncommon for a trapper who's just sold off like a winter's worth of pelts to have that kind of money on him.
Makes sense. All right. The pearls maybe in trade.
I've got goods and I have trade rather and barter rather than just straight cash.
Right. Yeah. The coroner's jury said Albert Johnson came to his death from concentrated rifle fire by RCMP members on February 17th, 1932.
That's a very accurate coroner's report. How'd he die?
Yes.
Oh, you know how you shot at him for a straight hour? Yeah.
Yeah, that got
I don't
him.
want to die of concentrated gunfire. That's just sounds like a lot of bullet holes.
There's a documentary called The Hunt for the Mad Trapper, and in it they go through the story of the Mad Trapper, but they also talk about how his body was exhumed in, I think it was 2009.
Really?
So they could look for any way to identify him, and DNA is starting to become a thing. And in 2017, they did a familial DNA test to see if they could track down any family members, but that was unsuccessful.
Interesting.
Just wild.
Yeah,
just
and
a mystery guy.
Yeah. And in this documentary, they say that the shot that killed him likely came from an indigenous trapper. So it wasn't the RCMP at all that got him.
They did not get their man.
Nope, somebody else got their man. They just happened to be there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, take whatever help you can get, I suppose.
Well, someone had to get shot while the competent people did the real work.
Yeah. I'm like, the important thing is a man is dead. Like, I don't know. We got him.
Yeah.
You know? So, so fascinating. And you wonder if they'd taken him alive, if he would have spoken, but I would not imagine so, hey?
Yeah, I don't think he would have.
Quiet guy.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to get taken alive. He's like, nope.
No, so whatever he had done in his past clearly was bad enough that he could not let the cops take him alive.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah. Or he's just a sovereign citizen, and I would say he has cooked his brain online, but it's too early for that. Cooked his brain on that long wave
Oh
radio.
God, he was a graper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or something. He just, because, you know, people, you do wonder about people who have extreme reclusive habits sometimes create the apocalypse they're planning for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, no, you get the self-fulfilling prophecy. If your entire
yes.
life is about how the government's going to get you,
Yeah.
and then the government says, hey, how's it going? And it turns into a gigantic gunfight, you have created your own future.
Yep, that's right. In curious case.
The Mad Trapper is being identified by others as being Swedish, Russian, American, Danish, Finnish, Norwegian, and Canadian.
I guess that sounds like the standard white Canadian.
Yeah, it can't be too far off.
I'm basically that. As are you.
Missing British Isles blend.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm mostly British Isles blend. Never mind.
The theories about the Mad Trapper's motives are numerous. He had cabin fever.
Ooh, maybe. I mean, the cabin fever would eventually wear off after months in the mountains.
Yeah, no kidding. He was a spy for a foreign state, possibly Russian.
I don't think Russian spies do that.
He was wanted in the U.S. for bank robbery, murder, or both.
Plausible.
He became involved with an indigenous girl and a jealous lover set him up.
That might explain the initial concern with the police, but not literally all his behavior.
He hated all Mounties because one once stole his girl.
I mean, of all the reasons... Also, he just would have shot them then.
He stole a Mountie's girl.
Who hasn't?
His wife was raped and killed by minors.
That's horrible and doesn't make sense. But okay, these are theories. They're not your theories.
And he was an ex-Mountie or a provincial policeman.
I'm just kind of baffled by that one. But fair enough. People are thinking of anything they can.
Yeah, so these are a lot of the rumors going around.
Mm-hmm.
One theory was that he was actually from the United States. Oh no, I talked about that one already.
Right, the notion that he was from the United States and committed some horrible crime and was hiding out.
Yeah.
That would actually explain a lot. That's not incongruent with his behavior, like most of the other theories are.
Yeah. I had mentioned pictures of Albert Johnson, and you can find them online, but unfortunately they are pictures that the doctor took after Albert Johnson died, so they are of a dead body. They're super easy to find.
You will see a frozen corpse making a weird face at you.
Yes.
Well, that was a great episode, Tracy. That was delightful.
Thank you very much.
That was excellent. So that was episode 1 of the Wonderkamer. Next week, it is going to be me. Be hearing from me, my tale of woe and wonder, or whatever you might want to call it. We have our next story next week. So come back for more Wonderkamer. Do you want to sign off, Dave and Tracy? Do you have anything in particular you want to say about this tale, about next week's episode?
I think there's a moral lesson to be learned from all of this, which is that just leave him alone. Just leave that guy alone. You know what? He sabotaged some traps. Wasn't worth it. But I think that's right. Good. Thank you, everyone. I'm Dave. And
I'm Jen.
I'm Tracy.
We are 3 dilettantes. Bye.
We are 3 dilettantes. Wonderkamering. Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you for listening to The Wonderkamer. Find us under The Wonderkamer on Blue Sky, YouTube, and Instagram.